Welcome to another week of Cookie Jar FX. I am your host, Eric Foreman, and we are here on our third week of the Brownie Bite analysis, just a weekly analysis I give every Sunday for the market review and outlook for that upcoming week and pairs and currency activities that I am paying attention to. So, there are some updates on my previous trade with Euro Dollar that I was in, and we ended up getting stopped out, or I ended up getting stopped out because price, well, not just price, but I ended up getting a margin call. And that margin call is not good, it's not healthy, it's not a good choice. So right now we're down profit wise 261. So that's 2 weeks worth of hits at this point. So hopefully by the end of this month we're able to bounce back and end out in a positive position, and I'm pretty confident I can get there. I'm not really stressing it. I think, and one of the things that I want to highlight on this conversation of a margin call, which I'll get into in a second, is that when you're down on a trade, don't make it worse. So if you guys had saw my video on Wednesday, video number I think day 9. Thursday I didn't get a chance to post the video, and then Friday I didn't get a chance to post it either. So missed out on those days. But and I'm changing the schedule up as I had mentioned on Wednesday also. So I'll give you guys some updates on that. But if you guys remember what I was saying on Wednesday, uh, video recording was that if price had broke this 50 back up, I was gonna get out of the trade on the 4 hour. It ended up breaking above, and I still never got out. I also said if it closes above the 8, I'm going to get out of the trade. I didn't get out the trade. Um, and in connection with the margin call, when you get a margin call, that means your your free margin balance here is negative, like is below zero. So even if it's only 20 cents, you're gonna get a margin call, but you have 3 days to fill that margin call or to get your free margin back to positive, net positive. And the way to do that is either you like add some more funds, or and I was hoping that the move would have been going back in the direction that it can go in, so that my free margin was back in a positive. But I was down by so much, it didn't work out that way. Or just cut your position. So if you guys remember, I had pretty much point 40. I have 4 positions that was 10 cents each, uh, that put me in the negative margin over time with the reverse. And what I should have done, because my mind was so set on maybe making a deposit, and what's crazy, and I didn't like that I wanted that actually had did this, is that when Friday had came, um, I was negative maybe one, like my free margin was negative maybe 150. So it was literally 350 on a dot. And I was looking to go to the computer. I was going to the computer. I was going to make a deposit, just to kind of cover that 150. So I was going to put another $200 in there just to cover it so that I don't fall further into the negative margin aspect. And then my hope was that once it goes back to positive, I'll take the $200 balance, my $200 deposit back out, so it doesn't change anything from the $1,000 journey and a part of that process. When I get to the computer, they ended up taking me out. Mind you, the market wasn't closed yet. So I was a little upset that that happened because I didn't know it happens like that. I thought you get called once the market officially closes, and that wasn't the case. I guess at least for the third day. That's only like in my trading career, that's probably only happened to me maybe 3 times out of the 9 years I've traded, where you get margin called, and if you don't fill that margin, you pretty much are done for. Or it's not that you're done for; they just take you out of your positions. But the smartest strategy, as I said, that I should have done would have been to maybe close out 2 of my positions, and take that loss. But all in all, I should have gotten completely out of the trade uh, by by Thursday. Reality, I should have gotten out of it because we did close out, but we closed out with a topping tail here Thursday, which is why I didn't leave the trade because I expected that maybe we'll work back down. That didn't happen. We ended up pushing back up, and it just like it looked like it might try to retest this high. Maybe we'll get another topping tail. I don't know, but I closed out on it. Well, I got closed out on it, and it's just I have to look at it with fresh eyes. I also have a personal account that I trade personally outside of the cookie jar account, and I was in the trade too, but I wasn't in negative margin on that. But I ended up closing out the trade literally just a few minutes ago before doing the video. So I'm flat on all euro dollar trades. And one of the things that I have to make sure I do, and this is very, very important, is when you are trading, right? And if your analysis is not the same anymore, you need to just look at it differently. Like I'm looking at euro dollar now. I had it on my list because I'm like, I still feel it's gonna go short. Don't feel anything. There's no such thing as gut feeling when it comes to trading. You see what you see, and your assessment is either based off of a bias. Like it has to be going long, it has to be going short. What do you see on the chart? And if I'm looking at this with fresh eyes, like this is the first time I'm actually looking to trade euro dollar, this is not a trade I would be getting in, like at all. Like it looked like it's gonna be pushing upward, but it's also possibly coming right back up against some resistance. So is this something that I want to trade right now or wait until I get a signal, maybe back at this resistance level? Because maybe we may potentially be looking at a head and shoulders pattern on a daily. Like then that's how I want to look at it, but I can't be like, oh, like nah, it's still going short. I'm gonna stay in because we don't know what's gonna happen. Nothing's ever guaranteed in the market. And as you can see, I had my analysis. We had some activity early. Like it was a fight with euro dollar, and I really, really was strung hold on the idea that we were going short and all these different signals. Topping tail right in the 8. I thought it was going to be breaking below the 20. Never happened. We pulled back, 3-bar pullback, topping tail on Thursday. I'm like, we definitely going short now because it failed to make a new high or to retest that resistance level. We never dropped. So again, like you can do what you can do with your analysis and obviously your financial management risk, which is important too. And that's the part that I also failed on because I extended my position size, and that was a bad idea. So stick with the strategy, stick with the plan. And this is the reason why I brought back up the playbook, right? So I said that every week we will be looking at this. I'm going to look at it. So again, no trades that exceed 10% of the equity. So we're now officially under $1,000, like officially closed under. So if you guys remember one of my previous videos, I said that if I am officially closed with under $1,000, or I mean, I know we had 9 and some change before, but I still have positions on. Like if we go under that, I will officially just be trading point 0.5 until I get back to 1,000. So I'm in pound Aussie, which I'll get into in a second. But yeah, 0.5. That's it. 5 cents. Like I have to now deal with the consequences. If you was working for a proprietary trading firm, you like the shit that I pulled last week, I would probably be on I would be on a demo account right now. So I would be sitting on the sidelines, warming a bench pretty much. So follow the plan. Let me go back to the playbook real quick just to finish up with that. All right. So we're not getting into 2. I'm gonna keep it moving on that. Risk to reward. So again, making sure that your risk, your reward, all of these things are measured. A stop loss and take profit must always be placed. So right now I'm in pound Aussie. I don't have a take profit or a fucking stop loss in here, right? So why not? Why do I not have that in place? And there's no excuse. So what I'm looking at, and this is the thing that I got to be mindful of. So my stop loss, I'm probably gonna be putting it under the 8 just to be safe because we may get a bounce right back off of that. My target is up to the 50 on the weekly. So the risk to reward is 588 to reward for roughly about let's just say 160. So 160 risk, 580, let's just say reward. So that is definitely a 3 to 1 on that. So that's good. I have to set those markers for my take profit and my stop loss. So we'll definitely do that. Adjust stop loss from original 70%. I still have to get better at that because again with uh, euro dollar, for example, I definitely hit the 70% take profit uh, connection, but I just failed to take my profit. And the other thing is that we were trading euro dollar to for a cone trade. It reached the 20. It hit the 20 as the 20 MA was rising on the daily. So I should have also been out because of that. Because my trading strategy was a cone trade. I just was trying to see if we were going to go for a double scoop down to the 50 and break the 20, which never happened. Not to say that it won't, but as of right now, based off of what we're seeing, it's not ready yet. That's not the situation. So that's that. Every day trade journal. Yes, I will be doing that. My pound Aussie trade, I will be journaling that in. And the reason why the pound Aussie trade, I haven't set up anything is because I literally had executed the trade um, before starting the video. Again, cone trade, market open gaps, 10 bar, max bar extension. We'll be playing those flat 200s, bear 180, bull 180, and then regular trading. So trading is an exercise and getting better every day. So again, gotta constantly be on it, like studying, just self development, listening to the YouTube videos, podcasts, whatever is of interest, but just making sure I am consistently working my mental exercise and recognizing my disciplines, my mistakes, what not to do, um, and how to move forward. And I think that's one of the values of this YouTube page is because it allows me to keep myself accountable because I'm sharing it with you guys. So if I'm bullshitting, I have to be honest about my bullshit because you guys see my P&L, y'all see my account, like it's clear. So that's that. Do not trade setups that are not worth your intellectual, emotional, and financial capital. So again, like your dollar was good, and I was stressing that, but after a while, was it worth my stress? Like no. And trust me, those last few days, later in the week, from Wednesday to Friday, I was stressed, that's not how we want to trade. So just make sure there's no stress once in a trade. The emotions that come with fear of missing out are often associated with an unmet developmental need of validation that can overwhelm one's intellect, right? So if I'm trading, uh, what you call it, euro dollar, but the analysis has changed or whatever the case, like, what is it that I'm afraid of? Like, is it the fear of that I'm about to lose this opportunity? I don't want to miss it. Like, I'm trying to catch it early. Like, just wait, see if it breaks to 20 and then enter. Like, it's not killing me to grab maybe like 2/3 left or 1/3 less of the volume of pips that I was gonna get because I'm playing a little bit more smarter. Waiting for further confirmation. So I think that was the other thing is just am I trading this or staying in this trade because I'm living out this fear of missing out on a trade, and we don't want to live like that either or trade like that. First comes the professional trader. Only then can a trader become a consistently profitable trader, CPT, right? So I I think that's one of the main components that I am heavily focused on now. It's not it's not about just trading for me. Like I'm recognizing that now over the past 2 weeks. It's really about the psychological effort and the energy and the discipline and the consistency that I want to focus on, and really becoming great at what I want to do. And one of the things that I had read in his book, Mindset, and I don't have it in front of me right now. It's her name is like Dr. Carol something, but the book is called Mindset, and what she spoke about in one of the chapters is talking about the growth mindset, um, or those that kind of adapt to that idea. And what she spoke about was just the importance of having coaches, the importance of not mentors but coaches, people that's really gonna guide you to becoming great. That's gonna be honest with you. That's gonna tell you when you're wrong, when you've messed up, and when you need to get better, how to get better, and really showcase to you the steps that are necessary to get you there. And I recognize just after reading that like damn, like I don't have any coaches in this area or this industry anymore. When I first started back in 2011, I was with a prop firm called iFund Traders, and there was a number of different trading instructors that I really just connected with, and I just learned from and just vibe with and just kind of evolved and grew. But since that kind of dissipated and went its way years ago, looking at it now, it's like ever since then I've just been trying to fight this fight all alone. So I was really thinking and reflecting on what steps do I have to take to find the coaches that I need in my life from a trading situation to help me get better. Maybe guide me, provide me with resources. Like I want to get to the next level, and I know for sure, like you can't just take an account from $1,000 to $1 million just by itself, like just like that. Um, Obviously, over a period of time, you can. But I was having this conversation with a good friend of mine and explaining to him that, look, I might want to get from 1,000 to maybe 50,000, and then kind of grow and maybe build out a partnership with a prop firm. Like I don't know, but you do want to become a professional trader first. And what does that represent and what does that mean? That's going to help you become a consistently profitable trader. And one of those things that I had to learn was that I need to obtain more coaches and more guidance from those that's been in the industry and really doing things on a different level, beyond just the retail and independent stage. You have to be ready to be successful before you are successful. Critical thing. And this is why every single day I am working and putting in work. Last week, as well, I fell upon one of these guys, Jim Quick, a very resourceful guy that deals with using your brain for cognitive learning and processing a lot more quicker, being able to create the ability to learn a lot faster. And one of the things that was important to me was his speed reading course, because I love reading books. I love adapting to that, and I've been wanting to do speed reading for a while. Um, but he talked about just how you can read roughly about a book a week, if you allow yourself to read 45 minutes a day. Just 45 minutes a day will get you to at least completing a book a week, for the average book volume, which is like maybe 250 pages, 300 pages. Um, so I'm like, all right, I'm gonna dedicate and put that into my schedule. You also set the importance of making a schedule. Like if you like set the time every day, so every single evening, which is like my peak hours. Personally, I don't know what y'all peak hours might be, but my personal peak hours is in the evening. So I focus on reading 45 minutes a day, um, and try to work through these books. And based off of this other guy, and I mentioned him before in the video, Brett um, Steenbarger, Dr. Brett Steenbarger, he talked about how his mind just focuses in listening to this musician, Philip Glass, music in 12 parts. So I just put that on and let it play. I set my stopwatch to 45 minutes or my timer for 45 minutes, and let the Philip Glass play, and then I just stay in the zone of reading. No distractions, phone off or phone on silent, and just go from there. But yeah, like it it takes effort to be successful, and but it also takes intention. And I think a lot of times we think we want success, or we have an idea of what we want or what it's supposed to look like, but we don't really put the intention behind it to evolve and really grow from it. So I think that's important. All right, so let's really get into what I'm looking at for this week. As you guys can see, Euro dollar is not on the list this week. It will be probably because I'm going to pay attention to see what happens at this resistance level if it pushes back up, as I'm anticipating. Because I do want to see if we get a rejection back off of that area, and then I might look to play it. But as of right now, I am looking at New Zealand dollar short. Let's take a quick peek at that because we have a weekly cone trade, right? My challenge with this is that there's still some dollar weakness. So a lot of these currencies, or it might be some dollar weakness this week, I'm not sure. But a lot of these currencies, the major currencies or the dominant currency like New Zealand dollar against the US dollar, may push up because of it. But on average, this is a cone trade setup that I would be personally looking at. Like it already broke the weekly 8, and the target would just be down to at least the 50 for about 180 pips. The daily, we're slightly plugged in, but below the 50. It's just that we would need that 8 and that 20, well, really the 8 to cross over to confirm a downward move. And once that happens, we'll be heading down possibly to the to the 200 daily MA, which would match up pretty perfectly with the weekly cone trade target of the 20 or the 50. So I think that's something to be mindful of, to pay attention to. I like the trade. I might not be getting into this specifically because I'm already in pound Aussie, but I do have some capital freed up to be able to get into something else. But I won't get too crazy with it. But yeah, the New Zealand dollar is, I think, a reasonable trade to pay attention to. Just see how it works, but we should possibly at least be heading down to the weekly 50 MA going into this week, or at least down to the 200. It may not happen in 1 week or this week specifically. It may happen over the course of 2 weeks, so this might be a swing trade. But I think that's just one good outlook to have. Let me see what else we have. All right, so dollar CAD. I did like dollar CAD long for a number of reasons, so this might be another trade that I actually will get into. I wish the RSI lines had matched up with it. I'm not really getting that, but I do like what I see here on the monthly. We can start from there, but the monthly's right on the 50 MA, right? So pretty flat, which we already know a flat 50 MA. The higher the time frame, the better. But that is part of our regular 80% success rate trades. So this would be something that I would want to trade. Flat 50 right off of the monthly. But then also we have a flat 200 on the weekly. So what's to say we probably will get a bounce off of this? I don't think we're going to immediately break through this. I think we should see a little bounce to the upside before pushing back downward, possibly. That target would probably be the 50 MA for me. That would probably be I don't want to say the furthest, but that would really be the ideal target. About 219, 220 pips there. So possibly a nice little break to the upside. And I actually enjoy playing dollar CAD. I haven't traded dollar CAD in a little while. But I usually like the consistent activity and movement with dollar CAD. There's no funny business. It's nothing complicated. It's usually consistent. So dollar CAD will probably be something I would definitely be looking to trade going into this week. So I'm definitely going to rate that at a 10, and we can see how we want to play that. New Zealand dollar, I'm going to probably get at an 8 because I think it's a solid cone trade, and obviously the cone trade is a cookie monster trade. I'll trade it to a 9. Um, but I don't really trade New Zealand dollar like that too. I think that's another important aspect to your trading career. Like, know what you like to trade, know what currencies you like to trade, what style, like all of this plays into that. There's certain currencies I just don't personally like to trade. Like I don't trade any yen pairs. I'm just not interested. Some people like to trade the yen pairs. I just don't. I don't trade any Swiss pairs either. Dollar Swiss, Euro Swiss, Pound Swiss, New Zealand. Like I don't trade any of those. Um, I don't trade uh, like pound Aussie, pound New Zealand too much because they're pretty expensive. But I usually like the activity of them. So the only reason why I don't trade them as much is because they cost a lot to get into for a smaller position. But the pip volume on it is usually great, so it actually balances out over time. So that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, just make sure you dissect what currency pairs you like to trade. And as I said, just me personally, I don't really like trading New Zealand dollar like that. But I will trade like New Zealand CAD. I like that, like or Aussie New Zealand, a pound New Zealand, all day. Next up, just steaming through real quick. Pound Aussie, as you guys saw, and we've been talking about Pound Aussie now for 2 weeks, I believe. But I got into this trade just early. It was like I'm just gonna let it ride out. But why? Because we are still in the midst of a cone trade, a solid cone trade. Again, remember this move was extended. We had a nice bottom and tail coming off of this 200 here on the weekly, and it's still setting up for a nice upward move. The monthly still very good. So at bare minimum, we should be seeing a nice retracement on this. And of course, and I wanted to get into this, but I couldn't because I was so tied up with euro dollar. I'm in it now. But this will probably be again just a real swing trade unless it swings to the moon real quick, which I will happily accept those pips all day. But yeah, we're still in the midst of the weekly cone trade, so that would set our target roughly at about the 23.6. I'm not gonna just take it there because of the extension of the move. We still have the potential to go at least up to the 50, which, as you can see, I have marked here as major resistance because of this previous price activity here, plus the 50 being there. So my target will be, as I said earlier, will be roughly in this area for about 600 pips. My stop loss would be down here, below the 8, just to protect. But yeah, I'm just gonna let this ride out. Like I'm not. Like it gets there as soon as it gets there. I'm in no rush. I have some free equity, some free margin to be able to get into some other moves. But this specifically will be a swing trade, not a wealth trade, but a swing trade until I get to that target, and then I'll make a decision as to what I do from there. But yeah, pound Aussie cone trade, real strong cookie monster trade, and as I said, I'm probably rating this one at a 10. I love it, love it, love it, and I am definitely going to enjoy that ride for the next coming weeks, and I'm pretty sure on that one. Because that's like a textbook obvious fucking trade. It's not complicated to tell. So last pair, Aussie New Zealand. So Aussie New Zealand is pretty good. I'm not gonna give it like a 10 though. And the only reason is because it's just extended. That's like if you look at this RSI level, it's completely extended above the 70, but also the weekly, and this is why retracting history or back testing is so important, because as you can see from all these previous RSI levels, it's never broken the 70. ever. So that's something to tell if we are currently at the weekly RSI level. That's telling me that we are possibly going short on this. And this will also pair up very well with our New Zealand dollar trade, which remember we had as a cone, a weekly cone opportunity, because Aussie and New Zealand current dollar currency is correlated currency, so from the same region. So if Aussie New Zealand shorts, then I would probably short New Zealand dollar as planned, but there's no exact setup here. Like I'm not getting a topping tail or anything like that. It's been trending very well. The only thing that I'm really keeping in hindsight is this extension. So what I have in the notes is to pay attention for any reversal signal, right? So if we get a reversal candlestick, that's like a big topping tail or an elephant bar or an engulfing bearish elephant bar, or a bear 180, whatever. Like if we see something like that, then we may want to start looking to get into the trade. But personally, I'm not touching it. I think it's just a recommendation from me to you guys just to look at it because of the level that it's on. But I personally just won't be trading this one. I will probably get into dollar CAD by tonight. But we will, let me rate this Aussie New Zealand real quick. And give it about a 8. I just feel like we got confirmation on the RSI levels. We just need confirmation on the actual chart. So that would be my suggestion. But yeah, I'm in pound Aussie, going good. Let that ride out. Dollar CAD, I'll definitely be looking to take that long. So I'm going to enter that right now. 0.5. So we're going to go long on that. I'm going to put my stop now that this 4-hour candlestick is setting up. If it actually closes out as a bottoming tail, I'll place my candlestick there because we're coming right off of the 52. So that'll be great. I don't like how far it got me in. Spread is crazy. 10 pip spread. So yeah, that's dirty. Yeah, so we'll rock that out, trade that up, see where it takes us. Obviously, it'd be a nice little tight stop there, so no stress on that. But the target will roughly be about 190. So if we get there, that'll be almost a little like 95 pips that we'll be able, or $95 we'll be able to obtain from that. So again, I'm confident that by the end of this month, we're gonna finish off with a positive P&L. It's just trading back to back 2 weeks, focusing on euro dollar and pound dollar early on. It got the best of me. And again, I could have done some things differently going into, from last week with the margin call and just all of it, but I failed to just kind of focus in. So definitely, get better and get better. So I hope that helps. Definitely, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, send it out to a friend or family member that may be trading, that might just need some tips. Start checking out and being on the lookout for my tutorial videos. I'm going to just start posting those. I just posted one this past Saturday, talking about the fib, resistant levels, support levels, and just really analyzing charts, and I gave a whole presentation on that. That's now up on the YouTube page. I will provide a lot more tutorial videos, just like introductory, understanding how to set up your platform, like how to read the candlesticks, the ABCs of the candlesticks, the major currencies, because there's currencies on here that we haven't even looked at, which I don't look at, but the major currencies in itself, how to pronounce them properly, because a lot of people don't know how to do that. You'll hear people say GBPAUD, like, no, we're not doing that. We'll say pound Aussie, or Aussie New Zealand, or dollar CAD, or some people say pound sterling or whatever, which means usually pound dollar. So yeah, some things to just kind of keep in mind. Just terminology and learning the lingo of Forex. I think that's one of the hardest things, just in general, not even just with trading, but when you're getting into a new industry, it's a language barrier you have to learn that allows you to obtain the information a lot more easier. So the better you learn the language and the lingo of that particular field, the more successful you'll be able to be. And that goes for just cooking, that goes for investments, that goes for medicine and health, that goes for reading, writing, technology, just all sorts of stuff. So the more you understand a language and what the language represents and mean, the more successful you'll be. But thank you for joining. Appreciate the support and hope this becomes another successful week. Final note, which I forgot to say, is that I'm not gonna probably post not that I'm not gonna probably, but as I mentioned last week, I'm not gonna post daily videos on trading. I'm gonna post a Sunday video just for the weekly analysis. Unless you guys send recommendations or suggestions, and I can do a little something on that, or any questions. But I'm gonna do a weekly Sunday, and then a midweek Wednesday, and then I'll do a Friday closed, like end of week closed video. So it'll just be 3 regular market videos based off of actual trading in the account, and then in the mix of that, just on random days, Tuesday, Thursdays, or maybe the same day, Saturdays, I'll post like some type of tutorial video, because I do need to start building out on the blog as well. I have an Instagram page, the Cookie Jar FX page. I need to start building out on that and really putting content on there. The Twitter, I want to start really building out. So it's all these different platforms I want to give is recognizable attention. So I don't want to be overloaded with just trying to focus on a YouTube page, but be able to still give quality content. So that's that. But just a basic update on that. So I will not be posting a video tomorrow specifically on the trades that I'm in. You might see it on YouTube. You might see it on Instagram. You might see it on Twitter. Just like, hey, this is the follow through. Whatever I called, I'm still playing it, still trading out. But I'm not gonna do a whole video on it at this point. It doesn't make any sense to me. But yep, that's it. And definitely enjoy your week. Happy trading, successful trading, smart trading, and keep building out. All right, have a good one, y'all.